students, welcome in the online classes of biology. As you know that we are discussing about lesson the cell. In my previous class I told you introduction of cell and also about prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell, and today I am going to discuss few more topics of this chapter. So the first thing which we are going to discuss today is shape and size of cells. Shape and also size of cells. So, shape and size of cells. The shape of cells are quite different in different organisms and also within the organism. The shape of the cell may be polyhedral, elongated, discoidal, oval, cylindrical, star-shaped, elliptical, or so on. There are so many shapes which are present or which are the feature of the cell, that cells are differentiated in the case of shapes. And when we talk about size, then also the size of the cell is quite different from another cell. Why? Because according to their function, their size and shape may change from one to another. And when we talk about the size, the smallest cell of the world is PPLO, which is also known as mycoplasma. It is the smallest cell, its range is 0.1 μm, and the largest cell is ostrich egg. The cell of ostrich egg is the largest cell of the world till the date till found. So the shape of the cells are quite different from one another within the cell or in different organisms depending upon their functions. And size of the cell is also different from cell to cell. The smallest known cell is PPLO and the largest cell is the ostrich egg. Now we will going to discuss about parts of a mature cell. What are the parts that constitute of the cell? We will discuss about different parts of the cell. Parts of a mature cell. So there are three important parts which are the parts of a mature cell: protoplasm, vacuole and cell wall. Number first is protoplasm. After that, second is vacuole, and the third one is cell wall. These are the important parts which are the parts of a mature cell. That all mature cells are consisting of these three parts: protoplasm, vacuole and cell wall. So first of all we will discuss about protoplasm only. So the protoplasm is the essence of life. Unlike the non-living matter, the living matter or biomatter exists on earth only in the form of extremely minute structure. That is called the protoplasm. That is, it is the essence of life, the major part of life. That means the life begins from where, that thing is the protoplasm. That the life starting point is known as protoplasm. Protoplasm is the first living matter, and this protoplasm is found by Purkinje. In the term protoplasm, the word protoplasm is coined by Purkinje. He was the one who gave in this word protoplasm, and there was a German botanist called Hugo von Mohl who established this protoplasm, that energy of life, and told us that it is chemical energy of matter. And also there are different scientists who give different theories for the protoplasm, but the most important thing is that the word protoplasm is coined by Purkinje and it is found by Purkinje only. Some of the physical properties of protoplasm is that it is viscous, elastic or granular in nature. Physical properties are is that it is viscous, elastic or maybe granular in nature. These are some of the important properties of protoplasm. The important nature of protoplasm, that this is the characteristic, or we can say the physical properties of the protoplasm, that it is viscous, elastic, or maybe granular. Then the most important thing about protoplasm is that it shows streaming movements. It shows streaming movements, the continuous movements inside the cell. That streaming movements are, number first is cyclosis. Cyclosis is continuation of movement. The cycle goes running on and on. Similarly, this movement is going to running on and on. This cyclosis movement is done in two types. Number first is rotation and second one is circulation. In the rotation, one after the another, the thing is going to take place, and in circulation, the one cycle completely forms and that circulation takes place. Second kind of movement of the protoplasm is ciliary movement. Ciliary movement. As you know about cilia, that cilia is a part of a cell which helps to move the cell, and that movement, which is like cilia-like movement, that movement takes place, and in that case ciliary movements occur in protoplasm. And the third movement, which is also very important, which you can consider by its name only, and that movement is amoeboid movement. This amoeboid movement is found only in amoeba, and this is a special kind of movement which takes place in amoeba only. That is why this amoeboid movement occurs in amoeba, and it is named after that movement, that it is amoeboid movement. After that came another topic related to this protoplasm, which is nature of the protoplasm. We have to know about what is the nature of protoplasm. On the basis of nature, protoplasm of so many kinds. So the number first one is reticulum. Reticulum. In reticular theory, protoplasm is like a reticulum, and this theory was proposed by Hanston only. So this reticular theory is that in which the protoplasm is considered as reticular, and this theory is given by Hanston. The second one is fibrillar theory. Fibrillar theory. In this case, the protoplasm is considered like a slender thread, and this theory is given by Fleming itself. After that came the third theory, which is granular theory. In this theory, the protoplasm is considered like minute granules, minute particles of granules, and this theory is given by Altman. After that came the fourth theory, which is alveolar theory. Alveolar theory, and according to this theory, the protoplasm is an aggregation of small droplets which is dispersed in another liquid medium. Therefore, the protoplasm dispersed in another medium liquid itself as a granular, they prepare emulsion-like formation, and that is why this theory is known as alveolar theory, which is given by Woodsley. After that, the last theory, which is colloidal theory. In this theory, the protoplasm this is the most advanced theory, and the modern theory, this is given by Fisher and Hardy. And in this case, protoplasm is complex heterogeneous polyphasic structure, and these are the theories which explain the nature of protoplasm, whether it is reticular or whether it is thread-like slender, whether it is granular form, whether it is emulsified, or whether it is advanced heterogeneous structure. So this is about the nature of protoplasm. Then after came chemical composition of protoplasm. Chemical composition of protoplasm, there are so many chemicals like nitrates, sulfates, bicarbonates, anion, cations. These are some of the things which constitute, and these are the chemicals which help in the constitution of protoplasm and are considered as chemical constitution of protoplasm. Other than these chemicals, nucleic acids are also present. Nucleic acids are made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur and also of phosphorus. And these nucleic acids, let's discuss this in detail. Number first thing, composition. We are discussing about protoplasm. So, composition of protoplasm. So, in its composition, the first thing is chemicals, which constitute chemical substances, different chemicals like calcium, potassium, magnesium, iron, anions, cations. These all compose chemical part of the plant. The second thing which constitutes of protoplasm is nucleic acid. Nucleic acid are also formed by different types of chemicals like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur and phosphorus. And these nucleic acids are basically of two types, DNA and RNA. DNA is the nucleic acid which is known as deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA is that nucleic acid which is known as ribonucleic acid. Some other chemical substances are also present like enzymes, alkaloids, which are also play different role in the constitution of or composition of protoplasm. After that, we will discuss about structure and function of different parts of protoplasm. The second thing which we are going to discuss is parts of protoplasm. Parts of protoplasm. When coming to its parts, there are two important parts, which is the constituent of protoplasm. Two important parts by which the protoplasm is formed, and that two parts are number first, which is very important, cytoplasm, and number second, which is also the major constituent of the cell, is nucleus. And now in our next lectures we will discuss about these parts and their functions. So students, that's all for